Coming up on World's Greenest Homes. We're off to Scottsdale, Arizona, learning how the locals stay cool.
We listen to a lot of Miles Davis.
And a secret hideaway.
Look at this thing. I mean, that's recycling at its premium.
In Colorado,
We kind of like keeping the old house as opposed to tearing it down.
a remodeled home that lets the outdoors in. And then to Toronto, where concrete is king.
Once it was a theme, we decided to keep going.
Plus, time to get something off my chest. My experience with architects, I can never get a hold of them.
Well, that's because we don't answer if it's the builder calling.
Join us as we visit the world's greenest and most extraordinary homes on the planet. Arizona, where the Sonoran Desert stretches over 120,000 square miles. It's one of the hottest climates in North America, but also one of the best for harnessing the sun's energy. Cave Creek is only 10 miles from downtown Scottsdale, but this place is as remote as it gets. So it's no wonder that the 3,000 square foot home feels like you're looking at an eco-mirage. But with 2 bedrooms and 2.5 baths, it's no illusion. This avant-garde home was designed for some pretty sweet living. First thing that's noticeable is the huge wall of rock and sand texture tiles. Around the corner is its spacious kitchen that looks like it's had its share of great parties. And down the hall, away from it all, is the peaceful master bedroom and bath, where soaking in amazing views takes on a whole new meaning. In the dusty, sun-drenched terrain of Cave Creek, you'll find a newly built home that manages to combine the best of the Old West with the newest eco-modern designs. Graphic designers Fred Daniel and his wife Stacy chucked their California lifestyle, and for good reason.
We had kind of a small house, no views, and it was kind of confining.
And the house was built in the late 50s, so it wasn't a tight home, had a lot of leaks.
So they hightailed it to Arizona to start a new life. Fred, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Hey, John, good to see you.
Modern desert living, is that what this is called?
Yes, it is.
When I walked in, I noticed a tiled wall on the exterior, and you've carried it right into the interior.
Instead of putting the Brazilian rust slate on the floor where you would typically see it, we decided let's do something a little unusual and have it on a vertical space, and I think it works out really well. The colors bring in all the natural desert rocks that you see around here, so we wanted primarily to have the house blend in with the environment, but make it a modern and contemporary feel.
To me, this doesn't say desert greenhouse. This is very contemporary, very different.
I guess I had a preconceived idea of what a green building would look like. It might be a cave somewhere, kind of Fred Flintstone-like, thick walls, small windows.
So the only connection with Flintstone is just your first name, Fred. I mean, that's about it, because this is not a typical Fred Flintstone kind of house. Stacy, tell me about the floor plan.
I wanted the floor plan to flow and be fluid as you moved throughout the house. The kitchen is open, dining room's open, in the living room, but they're all set at angles to each other, so there is some privacy, but it's very open.
You talk about angles. When you looked at the exterior of this, there's all kinds of jogs and setbacks and interesting roof lines. This house has a lot of angles to it. Is there a real design reason for that?
Some of the wing walls, the ones that kind of pop out, those are put in to stop sun from directly shining in windows.
In terms of the elements you use, how do you keep this house cool?
Well, we listen to a lot of Miles Davis. That keeps it very cool. We have 2 air conditioning units, and they're running sometimes, not a lot.
At nighttime, the weather is nice and cool, so we open up the windows and let a nice breeze come through.
You mentioned Miles Davis, and right away I'm looking at the cool disco ball.
You know, I've had that mirror ball since I was about 18. I've said, you know, someday I'm going to have a place to put that. And when we built this house and looking at the floor plans, I said, Stacy, that's the spot
Yeah,
for the
that
mirror
was your
ball.
deal breaker. You had to have that mirror ball.
I know this is bamboo. What's down here?
This is soy-stained concrete.
Soy-Stained, that sounds like organic.
Very much so.
And the color choice?
I wanted something that looked like a deep, rich chocolate leather color.
A leather concrete floor, that was the choice.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
The actual decision for bamboo, was it because it's such an eco-friendly material to use, or do you just really like the look of it?
I think both of those. In this environment, we pick up a lot of sand and dirt on our feet, and I've kind of noticed that it scratches a bit, but something we're getting used to living with.
But this kitchen would be easy to get used to.
Two completely different colors in terms of countertop surfaces.
Throughout the entire kitchen, the lower main portion is made out of Technostone, which is composite. It's got recycled glass in it. I didn't want anything very busy. I just wanted something that had a clean, smooth line to it. This top piece is granite. It's called Verde Fantastico, and we just fell in love with the color.
The color of the countertop ties in with your cabinetry. What is the material for the cabinetry you chose?
It's alder.
Alderwood is a fast-growing, renewable resource. But for Fred, he's got his eye on something else.
Being able to sit here and sample the foods that Stacy's creating.
Okay, so really this is your domain in that chair right about there?
Right there. Over to the fridge where the beer is.
These windows are positioned to take advantage of passive solar while keeping the heat outdoors. And that's just where we're heading with Fred and architect Doug Edwards.
The process went well for you guys?
Sure did. Oh, yeah.
Are you happy with the way this house was designed and the way it looks?
Oh, completely. Oh, I love the angles. It got kind of a winged feel to it, almost like it's going to take off.
The home is made with Ecrete concrete and doesn't emit any pollutants or toxic waste.
What they do is they batch up Portland cement, silica sand, and a little bit of aluminum in water. They pour it into a mold, it rises like bread, and then they put it in an oven and bake it. And it comes out as a solid block. It's fireproof, it's soundproof.
Bug-proof?
It's bug-proof.
Bug-proof, I mean, is that a problem out here?
We've got scorpions, bottlenose bugs, you name it.
All this bug talk is getting creepy. And speaking of creepy,
Master bedroom, I presume?
Yes, it is.
With a friend?
That's Flo.
That would be Flo, yeah. She lives with us.
Okay.
okay, and why not?
As long as I've known Fred. I think that was his first girlfriend.
Yeah.
Let's go take a peek at the bathroom.
Okay, this is paradise for you. This is a spa-like bathroom.
This is a wonderful bathroom. It's gorgeous. It's beautiful. We've got an east exposure vista of cactus and the mountains.
Okay, and you have a, it's like a doorbell.
That's our hot water recirculation pump. And
So I just pressed it, what's gonna happen?
the house won't explode. You're okay. When you push the button, it sends a signal to the water heater, and it said, okay, get the hot water going, and then turn the hot water on, and the hot water's right there. It stops you from wasting a lot of water when you're running cold water, waiting for it to get hot.
And speaking of not wasting anything,
You got a little, like, 2x2 cutout there.
Well, there's an area above our kitchen that's open to the ceiling, and we thought, wouldn't it be a great place for cats to hang out? So we decided to cut a hole in the ceiling to make an access.
You gotta be kidding me. And they literally, like, they crawl up there all the time?
All
or-
the time.
going one step further, Fred built his babies a Catio. That's right, a Catio.
So the Catio really does get used.
Sure does.
Like, look at this thing. Wow, this is quite the structure. It's all different here in Arizona. Fred, you actually designed and built this?
I did. I built it out of a lot of recycled material. The screens you see on the front are from a department store. They're used for displays. And some of the wood I got from this building site. They were scrap pieces.
I mean, that's recycling at its premium right here.
And the cats would agree.
Right. It's a work of art that we get to live in and enjoy, and it's just a wonderful thing.
Stacy and Fred have succeeded in creating a live-work oasis that provides many of life's luxuries while keeping in mind the basics of eco-friendly living. Nederland, Colorado is a charming mountain town nestled in the foothills of the Rocky Mountains. Enjoying more sun than even Miami, this laid-back community is working hard at preserving an eco way of life.
We're just 15 miles west of Boulder, where people just love the outdoors, and that's evident here as well. This small 1940s bungalow more than doubled its size in 2006, expanding from 900 to 1,900 square feet. Architect Rob Pyatt, his wife Heather, and their two kids Zephyr and Odie were busting out of their small homes.
I was an architecture student at the time, so we were definitely trying to do this on a tight budget.
And that meant remodel and not rebuild.
We kind of like the idea of keeping the old house and recycling materials and trying to improve on what we had.
So this is our main living space, and it's the original home. We decided to open it up as much as possible, so we put in the glass. The ceiling, you can see it's a vaulted ceiling, and it gives it a much more spacious feeling.
This was our original kitchen, which was very small. We decided to make it the entry and redo it. We opened the upper windows and we vent out the hot air in the summer. This is a really efficient and effective method of cooling down the house.
These locally made windows let in a tremendous amount of light and have a smart design.
It's a fairly sophisticated glazing system specific to its orientation. We have south-facing glazing that allows some sunlight in. We have west glazing, which blocks UV, and we have east, which is kind of a combination.
And when they're not admiring their windows, they head to the kitchen.
It's definitely our favorite room in the house, and we put a lot of time and energy into designing it. The idea behind it was to create a very open, casual, eat-in style kitchen that was very functional. We also wanted to have a very warm kind of tonality to it, so we chose a lot of plywood and wood countertop to kind of contrast with the stainless steel and the concrete.
We used recycled wood for the cabinets and countertop. The heating system is in the slab. It's a radiant hydronic system, hot water pumped through tubes embedded in the slab. It's a very efficient heating source.
And the floor itself is concrete, mixed with a recycled coal byproduct called fly ash, making it very strong.
This is our master bedroom.
The original house didn't have very good lighting, so we rewired and put in a track light.
They've made the master bedroom very comfortable with 100% natural bedding and added this one-of-a-kind organic wool carpet.
This is our master bathroom, and it's the original 1940s bathroom. We put in a few new fixtures. There's a skylight in it now, and redid the floor.
The cork tiles that we use for the floor, they are offcuts from the bottle top industries, and you use them as you would a mosaic tile. They're waterproof, but it's great with the kids. It's non-slip, and it's really soft.
The exterior is really different. This rain-proof plywood covers the prefab straw panels. But hey, how does it work?
It's a super insulated wall, and the acoustic insulation is quite good as well. The cladding of the house was a design project in itself. We've tried to experiment with common materials that were inexpensive but were able to resist weathering.
Like this slick Galvalume metal siding. Not only cool to look at, it's got a zinc coating that doesn't corrode. The entire home is designed to use every bit of space, including the backyard.
I think this is probably one of my favorite spaces. It works as an outdoor dining room. It almost doubles the size of our living space. Yeah, it really does facilitate an indoor-outdoor lifestyle for us here.
We kind of intentionally kept our house small so we could feel this big lot that we have.
While the garden is about to be planted, it's only one piece of their plan.
We've designed the backyard really as an urban farm. We're just about to the season for planting. We're integrating a series of raised beds with an urban hen coop.
Ultimately, we wanted to have this contemporary home with a very organic and natural kind of landscape, kind of intermixed.
And they've done a great job bringing the farm to the city.
That constant connection and flow between indoor, outdoor, and the idea that dirt's not a bad thing necessarily.
I think we should all be invested in our environment and in our community, and being able to create your own living environment, your own home, ties you to that home. I mean, it definitely gives you an emotional connection to the place.
There's no denying Rob and Heather have made that emotional connection, personally designing their environmentally conscious home to fit in perfectly with their love of the outdoors.
Toronto. It's one of the world's most culturally diverse cities and is home to many distinct neighborhoods that proudly maintain their ethnic identities. This city is one of the cleanest and trendiest places in Canada. Little Italy is a hip and happening urban neighborhood where a mix of old world values and new world thinking live comfortably side by side. It's a perfect place to build a prototype green home on a tiny urban lot. The area may be small, but with 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, over 2,400 square feet, this house is anything but. It's a modern home that features a big, bright, contemporary living space, and the upstairs is just as awesome. A cool, cozy den, and what a place to sleep. A master bedroom, which looks over one of the home's most fantastic features, a 2,000 square foot green roof, and a big, beautiful back patio. And who's behind it all?
That was
Husband and wife architects Ian Goodman and Jana Levin.
The spaciousness comes from the volume, like high ceilings, and part of it comes from the openness of the house and its connection to the outdoors.
When I wake up every morning, I always check and see if there's bees or butterflies or birds, and I love that.
Dean, how are you doing?
John, nice to see you.
Now this is urban living at its best.
For sure. Okay, so this is the main floor of the house. It's one big area, dining room, kitchen, and study and living room.
Why the open concept feel?
Partly it's about light, so we wanted this big skylight. So the whole center of the house is lit, and we wanted the big windows at either end.
The windows are double glazed, argon filled, keeping the heat out in the summer and letting it in when it's freezing. Tell me about the advantages of the concrete and why you guys chose this surface.
And in winter, when it heats up and it's cold out and you're walking around on bare feet on a warm floor, it's like being in slippers.
When you leave during the day then, I mean, how do you maintain a comfortable heat so when you come home that you're not, extremely cold?
The floor is on a thermostat, it's on a programmable thermostat, right. So if it goes down too low, it just comes on. We also have the stove, which is a really high efficiency wood stove. We keep the house actually quite cool and then light the fire because you can actually get hot.
A dominant feature here is this long countertop table.
All of this is reclaimed fir. It's reclaimed out of the Ottawa River. I love fir. I think it's a beautiful wood. I love the color of it. We're not very formal, so we didn't need a formal dining room. We wanted a dining room that was by the big back windows, so you really feel like you're sitting in the garden.
Now this is like the heart of urban living, isn't it? When you can see everyone's backyard, see what everyone's planting, growing.
See what everyone's having for dinner, yeah.
What was the landscaping plan out here?
I guess there were a couple things. One is to make sure that we had at least one large tree right on the back of the house. It's a maple tree, so it's going to grow large enough to really shade the whole back of the house.
Very low maintenance there?
Very low maintenance, and all the rest of this is really ground cover, trees, and a bit of area for vegetables, because we do plant vegetables all in here.
When do two architects have time to do those kind of things? You guys are too busy, aren't you? Because my experience with architects, I can never get a hold of them when I need them. I need a detail on a drawing, and you guys are nowhere to be found.
Well, that's because we don't answer if it's the builder calling.
That's right. What are you doing with your rainwater?
All of the water from this whole end of the house comes down through a pipe here and then ends up in the garden over here.
Right.
And in the front, goes down into the garden as well.
So you're taking a great advantage of just rain and watering your landscaping.
Yeah.
And what about building in such a tiny space? I mean, this is what, 20 feet?
Just over 19 and a half feet. There's about an inch between our house and both of the neighbors' houses. Downtown living is about density. So it is detached, but the houses touch.
So this is the master bath?
This is the only bathroom.
But what a bathroom. Open concept shower, clean white palette, and again, like the rest of the home, there's concrete everywhere in this house, including your tub.
Concrete on the tub. Well, once it was a theme, we decided to keep going. The thing about the concrete in here, again, it's heated, but the shower, like what's really nice is so you step out here and it's concrete, so who cares if a little water gets on the floor?
What about other design choices in here?
This is actually an old desk we found. We just recovered, just put on new P-lam on it, and then just bought a sink and stuck it on it because we needed a vanity of some form.
And what a great way to do it. I mean, you're reusing something that you found.
You have to be creative and you have to allow a bit of quirkiness. Final floor is the top floor.
And this is the entrance to the master bedroom?
That's right, to the master bedroom. What we really wanted was that the bedroom was kind of the end of a route. It's kind of like going up onto the roof. That was always the way we thought of it.
Yeah, when you say going up to the roof, like that is the roof.
That is the roof, and that's really what we wanted.
So when you're lying in bed, I mean, that is your view, right? Like you're just looking at the grasses.
Exactly, there's grass and of course, I forget all the names of the plants. There's one that's really purple, that's lavender.
Lavender, okay.
It's beautiful.
What about the choices of the actual plantings? Do you have someone do that for you, or
landscaper?
Landscaper, yeah, because that's not a part of an architecture.
Some people are really good with plants. I'm not.
And Jana?
No, she's not either. In fact, we seem to kill many plants.
And the benefits, insulation for your roofs, it keeps your house cool. There probably isn't a lot of knowledge out there for some people. They just don't realize how many benefits a green roof really has.
Yeah, I think it's true. It's becoming more so. The city of Toronto has just passed a bylaw now requiring larger buildings, commercial and industrial buildings, to all have green roofs. And that's a really good step.
Through trial and error, this couple weighed the pros and cons of every eco-element and designed a modern home full of creativity and quirkiness. Just curious how this type of building has been received in this area.
After the house was built, I was standing out here and there was this very old Italian woman kind of looking in the window before we had these guards on, so you could just see everything. So I asked her, what do you think? She didn't know I lived here, and she said, oh, it looks like a bathroom. So then I told her I lived here. She started laughing, and she was actually really, really nice about it.